The following content is brought to you with funding from the Universal Service Fund USF via its local digital content development initiative. Enjoy the show.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Maurs Class. In our previous episode, we discussed how we can come up with a business idea, the different ways in which we can try to come up with a business idea, like identifying a problem and all that. So, today we are focusing on branding. So, when we hear about a brand or branding, some people associate it with a logo, others associate it with a tagline, others even associate it as a product. But a brand or branding is not all those things. When we are talking about a brand, we are talking about a perception that people have about your product. Yes, a brand is just a perception. What are people thinking about your products or your business once they hear about the name of your business? That is what branding is. So, we have said that a brand is a perception that people have about your product. Now, branding is the act of creating that perception in people's minds. So, as a business person, it is your duty to try as hard as you can to ensure that people have the right perception about your business. So, in today's episode, we are going to talk about creating a better picture, or the picture that we want people to have when they hear about our business. There are several elements that make up a brand, or that an entrepreneur you're supposed to consider when you're doing branding. One of the first elements that makes up branding is a brand name. When we talk about a brand name, we are talking about what do people say about your business when you're not there. There are some times where you find people saying that, you're talking about this guy. This guy, he doesn't pay people back their money. Once he gets the money, he'll tell you that, I'm going to pay you back, but he doesn't. So that's what you're known as, a brand. That's your brand name. Or Sabweza Ngongole, that's what people know you for. Or else we can say that, okay, you want to go sleep at which hotel? That hotel, they're very fancy. I love the ambience. The people there, the customer service is very good. That is what people are knowing you for. That's the brand name that you've created out there. So as a business, to ensure that you have a very good brand name, it is very important to ensure that you keep your word. You have to be an entrepreneur of your word. If you say that, okay, we're going to deliver at this time, let's say you do bake cakes. You're going to deliver to a customer at 2 o'clock. Make sure that at 2 o'clock you have delivered. Or you say that, okay, we're going to change our products into this because we have heard the complaints from our customers. So we're going to adjust these things. Let's say we're adjusting our prices. Or else customers complain that our food wasn't nice. We have to do this. We're putting that into consideration. As a brand, people know you for being a very good entrepreneur, or a very good brand that listens to their customers. That is what your brand is going to be known as out there. So it is very important for you to ensure that whatever people are saying outside there, when you're not there, what are they discussing about your product? What are they discussing about your business in general? It should be very good. So make sure that as a business, as I've said already, that you need to have an intent when you're creating your brand. Have a proper strategy to ensure that whatever people are saying out there, it is very good for your brand. The second element that you have to consider when you're doing branding is brand identity. When we talk of brand identity, we're just trying to refer to the visual elements of your brand. Let's say your brand colors, your logo, the design of your products. Let's talk about Coca-Cola, the bottle, the design of their bottle. It's a brand identity, because once you see a bottle of Coca-Cola, even if it's empty, you still say that, okay, that's a bottle of Coca-Cola. Even if the words are lapped off and all that, you still say that, okay, that's a Coca-Cola bottle, because we are used to that, okay, this is how a Coca-Cola bottle looks like. It is there. They try to maintain that perception in us, their consumers, that, okay, this is how our brand product looks like. So brand identity is all about the visual elements of your business. What do people see? How are products looking? How does our logo look like? Is our packaging okay? Even the packaging part, what colors are our products and everything else. So when it comes to brand identity, you have to ensure that the way that your brands are positioned out there, or the way that your products are positioned out there, should be able to persuade your customers to love your products more. For instance, when you talk about an iPhone, you see a phone just from behind. The moment you see the cameras, you can tell that, oh, that's an iPhone. Some are even able to identify that, okay, that's an iPhone 12 or that's a 15, just from seeing the way the cameras are looking like. So that's a brand identity. It is the visual element. It's what we are able to see from the brand. Even the logo, the Apple logo, from just seeing the logo for an iPhone or for Apple, you're able to identify that, okay, that's an iPhone. It's a phone that is associated with prestige, good camera, it's fancy. That is how Apple positioned their brand to the consumer's mind. So when you're coming up with your logos, the designs for your products, make sure that you maintain them, and at the same time, you're able to use an identity that customers are able to adapt to easily, so that they can easily identify your products. Even a big pen, once you see a pen that has that kind of odd design, and all that, you're able to say that, that's a big pen. So whenever you're coming up with an identity for your brand, ensure that it is easily adaptable for your customers, and it is very nice in the eyes of your customers. The other element of a brand identity is brand purpose. So when we are talking of brand purpose, usually we talk of what does your brand try to save? What is the whole reason of your business or of your brand? There's some businesses out there whereby they say that, okay, once you buy, let's say, 10 products from us, we're going to give the 11th product to, let's say, a person with disability, or we are going to give something to a homeless person. And a good example can be the Tom's brand, the shoe brand, where they have a certain sales percentage that they say that once you buy something from us, we're going to give a pair of shoes to a homeless person. So the purpose of their brand is that they want to help homeless people out there. If you buy from them, they're going to pay a certain percentage to homeless people. So that is the purpose that people associate with the brand. People are encouraged to go say, okay, let me buy the Tom's shoes, because once I buy, they're also going to help someone out there who is in need. So your brand should have a purpose. What are you trying to achieve by the end of the day? Okay, let's say you want to introduce a herbal product. You're only focusing on people with a certain medical issue. What's your purpose? How much are you going to sell that product? Are you going to sell your product at a price where you're not getting as much revenue because you just want to help people in need out there who are suffering from that particular disease? Or you're just doing it just because you just want to make sales? So the purpose that you have for your business is also going to be relatable to your customers. They're going to have that perception that, okay, when we hear this about this particular brand, we associate it with helping people in need. So whenever you're trying to build your brand, make sure that you have a purpose. People and your customers are able to know what your purpose is as a business. The last element of branding is brand vision. So when we talk of brand vision, we are talking of what is the goal that your business has? What do you want to achieve by the end of the day? What is your vision as a business? We can give an example of Tesla, from Elon Musk's posts and all that. You can tell that the brand is more into sustainable energy. So hence we see the electric cars, and now they're even going into solar energy. So the vision of that business is to ensure that they're more into green, into sustainable energy. So that's what we associate the brand Tesla with. Being into sustainable energy, which is something that the world is fighting for these days, because global warming and all that and everything else. We're trying to conserve our planet. So that brand is associated with sustainable energy. That's their vision. So a brand vision should be able to tell your customers what is your goal, what are you looking into, what do you want to achieve in the future. So as a brand or as a business, you should ensure that you have an understandable or a relatable brand vision, so that your customers are also able to relate to that, to your particular business or to your product. There are some tips that as an entrepreneur you need to consider when you're doing branding for your business. First of all, it is important to ensure that you remove your face from your brand. Sometimes we want to be associated with our brand just for the sake of prestige or just to be known, but usually it is good for a brand not to be associated to a face, like to the owner of the business most of the times. This is because sometimes people will not like you as a person, which might end up destroying your brand image. Your products may be very nice on the market, but just because they know the owner and the owner has a certain personality, they might not end up liking your products or having bad things to say about your brand. So it is important to associate your ego, your face, your personal business from your brand. This helps you to to ensure that your products are building up on their own. For instance, let's give an example of Coca-Cola. If you ask me who's the owner of Coca-Cola, I won't even mention their name. I won't even mention how the person looks like. But ask me about Coca-Cola as a brand, I'm going to say so much about Coca-Cola. I'm going to say so much about the way some of my friends love Coca-Cola. Everything else about the brand. I'll identify, as I said, the bottle. I'll identify all the bottles that they have had before, the plastic packaging and everything else, just because that's how I know the brand. But ask me who owns it or how the person looks like, I won't have anything to say about that. Same thing with Nike. When you hear about Nike shoes, I'll tell you, okay, this is how their brand identity looks like. I'll tell you the logo is a switch. And I'll even tell you that, okay, Nike shoes, they make good running shoes. I even have a pair. I love how they're durable and everything else. But ask me how the person looks like, the one who owns Nike, I won't tell you anything. So all I'm saying is the people that own the best brands out there, they're not usually associated with their brands because they try to disassociate themselves from their brand, because that helps to ensure that their brands, their products are able to perform on their own without being associated to the persons that own them. Another important thing to consider when you're doing branding is to ensure that customers are able to value your products. Make sure that you create a good perception or a good relationship with your customers from the way that your brand presents itself. If someone walks into your hotel, you've started a hotel, the customers should be able to take care of your products, because the way that your brand presents itself, the way that your products present themselves, they are able to give a certain kind of value to people. People are able to associate you with your brand with being a very good brand that they are forced to even take care of your brand. So whatever they say out there about your brand, or whatever the perception that they have about your products, they are able to bring value, or to say that, okay, this is a very valuable brand, we need to take care of it. Same thing when you have a Gucci bag. You're going to take care of it because, first of all, it's expensive. You know that it's durable, but at the same time, just because it is a Gucci bag, the identity that it has, or the perception that people have about it, is that, okay, this is an expensive bag, let me take care of it. You can't just throw it anyway because you're like, hey, I spent so much on this bag, I need to take care of it. So your brand should be able to add a certain kind of value to people's lives. let's say they're feeling fancy whenever they have your brand. That's the kind of value that you're adding to people's lives. Let's say you're giving some kind of comfort, or you're adding some kind of feeling, yeah, prestige. That's the value that your brand is adding to people's lives. So make sure that your brand should be able to have some kind of value to your consumers' lives. The other thing that you need to consider when you're doing branding for your products and your business in general is that you should ensure that your business is able to sustain itself even if you were to stop marketing. An example that we can look down to is during COVID. During the lockdown, not a lot of companies were doing marketing for their products because, less people were out there to buy things. But there were still some brands out there who were still able to make a lot of sales despite being in lockdown. An example is Apple. People are still able to buy Apple products despite being in lockdown. People were still order online. They made so many sales. People still interact with their brand because despite them not doing any marketing for their products back then, but people still remembered the brand that, okay, there's Apple. If I want to buy a phone, let me go for an Apple phone. Or, okay, there's Samsung. If I want to buy a better phone, let me buy a Samsung phone. It is how their brand is. It is the way that they position themselves in their customers' minds that despite not doing marketing and all that, but still more people are there, so that these are the best brands that we can go for if you want a phone. So make sure that when you're trying to build your brand, whatever you do, if you're not doing marketing for a month or 2, for 3, even for a year, people should not forget about your brand. They should be able to remember your brand because of the way that you've positioned yourself in the market. We have said so many things that we should consider when you're doing branding and all that. Let's try to build an example. Let's say we want to brand something. What product can we brand around us here? Oh, let's brand this pen. Okay, so we said that a brand should be able to have a story. What's the purpose of your brand? You should be able to tell people a story. So not a lot of people are using pens anymore because people are spending so much time on their laptops, on their iPads and all that. They're just typing. Not a lot are using pens. So let's try to create a brand story for this pen. Since a lot of people are not writing as they used to, I miss the days where, people used to write love letters. You're coming out of a classroom and you receive a love letter from a person from another class or your classmate. Even you just go somewhere, you sit down, you write down some notes about what you're thinking, or let's say you want to create some plan for your business, or you want to create a to-do list, you write it down. There's some power that comes with writing things down. I hope you can relate to that, but for me, whenever I'm writing something down, I'm able to, to think more. I'm able to do a lot of things if I'm thinking directly. So if I'm writing down the things that I want to do, or something that I'm thinking, or I'm coming up with a certain plan, I'm able to generate more things and just to think more about what I want to say. So let's say this pen that you see, if I have it and I'm using it, I'm able to think more. I'm able to write love letters. I'm able to even recognize my friends' handwritings because, I can recognize my mom's handwriting because she's able to write. I can recognize my dad's handwriting because he's able to write. I can recognize my friend's handwriting because, he's able to write as well. So there's some power that came with just being able to recognize someone's handwriting, to send someone a love letter, to send someone a letter in general. It was nice. So we are able to do more when we write. So we are calling our pen More. Not more as in Maureen. We are calling it more as in, let's say, MORE. So we have given our brand a name. And the story of our brand is that we're able to think more. We are able to do more. We are able to write down our business plans. And apart from that, we're able to chat more with our friends in the hot style way, where we are able to write letters. So this is our brand. The name of our brand is Maurs. It is associated with being able to ensure that its customers are able to think more when it comes to using this pen. So once you have this pen, you'll be able to, write a lot of things. You'll be able to write important things, not just a lot of things that are garbage. No, they are very important things that are going to have an impact in your life. So that's our brand. Okay, so we have created a brand story, which is thinking more. You're able to think more. And the name of our pen is going to be Maurs. So apart from that, now we need to create a face or an identity for our product. So the face of our product, as you can see, now we said that it can be a color, the brand logo. So let's say the brand logo is going to be an M. Okay, so you see a pen with a big M on it, you're able to say that, oh, that's a Maurs pen. And the brand color is black. Okay, so that's our brand's identity. And apart from that, as a business, you can now try to diversify. Okay, we have created a pen. Now people are associating it with good thinkers out there. Once they see a black pen like this with this design and an aim, they're able to identify that, okay, that's a Maurs pen. It's a pen for good thinkers out there. You can also try to diversify your business. You can say, okay, I'm going now to create writing pads. Those are going to be Maurs writing pads. They are also going to be associated with good thinkers. You can even diversify to other products out there. That's the kind of that's how you've branded your product. So that's just a simple example of how you can brand something from a pen with no name. Now you have given it a name, you have given it an identity out there for your customers to see. So that's all I had for you today in our episode of branding. See you in the next episode.